Why is this thing so difficult to see? It is because seeing is what we're looking at. Seeing is difficult to see. This is the Disappearing Hippo. It is a sculpture, but not a sculpture, because it is a work of environmental art. Environmental, cognitive recreativity. There was a little hippo in Africa called Little Loner. He was given that name by Karen Paulillo, who cares for hippos in Africa, in Zimbabwe. Little Loner died because of the water shortages that caused the river to dry up. Little Loner is that ghostly figure you see inside the Disappearing Hippo. Hippos care, hippos love, hippos defend other living things. A large hippo tried to breathe into Little Loner to stop him from dying, but he died. His skin was too dry. Hippos need water to keep their skins wet. If their skins aren't wet, hippos die. Disappear. This hippo is disappearing because its skin is dry. I made this hippo to look as if its skin was very dry. And I can show you that now, perhaps. The head of the Disappearing Hippo is made from geopolymer concrete, which is a mixture of high alumina cement, kaolin clay, and the ash from plant materials, and it uses a lot less energy to make than standard concrete does. But the secret ingredient here in this head of the Disappearing Hippo is hippo dung, at least the ash from hippo dung. And that means that the DNA of hippos is contained in the concrete. And that means too that it is the magic ingredient that might help us to transmit love through Little Loner to all the hippos in Africa. There he is. There is a time capsule in this little thing here. There it is. You can see it in the center of this picture. It is shiny. That little thing in there is a time capsule. And it will be filled with people's thoughts for our future on this little planet. And if we are still here in 75 years, it will be opened and it will tell what people hoped for and thought about to do with the environment. And there is a better view of that time capsule in there. Don't know if you can see that or not. Ah, yeah, there it is in focus. That is the time capsule sitting inside the head of the hippo, which is all silver foil. Ah, there we are. And it's tied on by two pieces of wire made by Leviton in Glenrothes, who sponsored me to make this work. We can send love to hippos in Africa from Glenrothes in Fife. We can send it through little Loner there. He is the transmitter of love. But what are all these little buttons there? These little buttons are symbols of our love. Buttons hold things together. They hold skin together. Each little button is different from all the other little buttons. Each is a thought of love from people in Glenrothes to hippos in Africa. It's a symbol of that love, to hold skin together, not just of hippos, but of all living things on the planet. Here is a picture of little Loner inside the big hippo. The big hippo is disintegrating. It's disappearing, just like hippos in Africa are disappearing. Little Loner died a long time ago. But he is the focus inside there of our hopes for the future, for hippos and also for ourselves that are going to be inside the time capsule. But who is this little person here? Clinging to the side of this huge edifice, this hippo-shaped cathedral. This is Mr. Hipsterpotamus, and Mr. Hipsterpotamus was given to me by Jack Cocker, who directed the documentary Meet You at the Hippos. And Mr. Hipsterpotamus has been my mascot when I have been building this edifice, this disappearing hippo shaped cathedral. And that's why I took it upon myself to include Mr. Hipsterpotamus in this work of cognitive recreativity. Mr. Hipsterpotamus is essentially also a triangular shaped object, only he is not coalescing from the things around him so much as hanging on to them for dear life. He is us. He is an anthropomorph. And it's okay to be anthropomorphic, because anthropomorphism is essentially a symbol of pure love. There he is, looking stunned, looking questioning. What are we going to do now? Well, here is the first thing that we did. No, that's not true. Not by a long chalk. But here is something we did. Here is something I did. I asked my neighbours here in Churnside, in the Scottish borders, to save up old tin cans. I'm going to try and show you what I did with these old tin cans. See, there's an old tin can in between those buttons. Well, it's part of an old tin can. Goodness knows who gave me that. And I took all those tin cans of beans and whatever else and cut them up over many long, long hours into strips and stuck them to pieces of cardboard. Cardboard, tin cans, old buttons, recycled materials, as we call them, saved from going to be recycled but made into symbols of a new language, a new symbolic language indeed. For that is what we must invent for ourselves, a new symbolic language, a new symbolic way of speaking. Not about the things around us, not about the objects, but with things. A triangle, a triverse, a triverse, a triverse. Each button is different from the others. The button at the bottom is nothing more than the difference between the other two at the top. The button at the top left is nothing more than the difference between the one at the top right and the one at the bottom. And the button at the top right is nothing more than the difference between the one at the bottom and the one at the top left. That is a triverse of understanding. And I don't just mean understanding as one word. I mean under hyphen standing. For each under hyphen stands the other. That is the thinghood of the thing, and the singularity of understanding that coalesces ever so slowly into objecthood. And if that object picks up on the very fact that it is coalescing from the things around it, it experiences emotion, like the hippo experienced the emotion of dying little loner there. Little loner will transmit love to Zimbabwe and other places in Africa.